When it comes to Traumatika, it's somewhat between potentially being camp, just plain old corny, or perhaps a movie that owes everything to its marketing department because what you get in the teaser trailer compared to getting in the movie feels like almost two completely different things. To summarize Traumatika, a demon named Valpadzu was locked away in this ancient relic that unfortunately was opened by a man named John. Because he did this, he got possessed. Eventually, his oldest daughter, Abigail, got possessed, and the two of them went on a kidnapping spree as well as murdering spree, of which only a young man named Mikey survived. 20 years later, John's youngest, Abigail's little sister named Alice, writes a book about it, and it seems to not only rattle Mikey in ways that make him re-traumatize, but makes him also relive everything that he went through to the point where he may not be only a danger to himself, but also a danger to others. So getting to the review section, the only highlight for us is that there are comical moments in Traumatika, but it's not clear whether or not they were supposed to be comedic or not. Two characters that specifically really benefit or else give this to the film. One is Sheriff Miller, who answers the 911 call early in the film that leads to John's home being investigated. And between him investigating the home, reacting to Abigail, even having some interaction with Mikey, because Sheriff Miller is comical and him not wanting Abigail to do a jump scare or things like that, you may find yourself chuckling, laughing, golfing, whatever. Following that, there's a woman named Karen Novak. Karen Novak gives 90s, 2000s interviewer vibes that, the ones who are more so exploiting the subject or exploiting their guests rather than trying to get to know the guests or have the audience get to know them. And as she talks with Alice, as she deals with some of the stuff that happens toward the middle to the late end of the film, again, you get a character who you're not sure if they were meant to be funny on script or if the actor brought that out or else the director just decided to just let everyone have fun, never mind the tone of the film or the tone you think they were going to go for because everybody was just having a good enough time where they're like, we'll just fix it in post or in editing. Which leads to the low point, which is not something we use that often, so definitely notable. But when it comes to Traumatika, in some ways you see what they were trying to do, it's just it wasn't executed well. Because Traumatika, you can see that trying to bounce around a different type of means of doing horror. They have the sort of found footage vibe. At the same time, they have, the trying to bring this demon into situations and having it allow for possessions and jump scares. They have, sometimes it's one of those graphic type of horror movies, but as this all comes together, it just doesn't often, if ever, work. Abigail gives maybe 2 or 3 jump scares throughout the whole movie. The demon is not that scary, and it's not also built up so that you can really get a strong sense of what it is besides a demon. I mean, they do spend one scene kind of going through its background, but this demon is so bland that it really doesn't catch on. And then when it comes to almost any aspect you can think of when it comes to Traumatika, it just disappoints in so many ways that's why for a horror movie we're praising a comedy over anything that could be scary. Because as somebody who likes horror movies that are a little bit messed up, give you kind of that safe environment to feel fear, this doesn't give you that. You don't get scared, you don't get grossed out. All you get is some slightly grotesque imagery of people who are mutilated, but it's not something that's going to leave a mark on you, especially if you're somebody who's pretty well used to seeing this type of stuff. Well, specifically in horror. Overall, when it comes to Traumatika, while it's graphic and in some ways weird, it doesn't deliver on what it promised in order to be that type of horror movie which really could have some kind of effect on you. Its featured villain in terms of this demon is bland as hell. It may be graphic, but if you're somebody who has watched enough horror movies, it's nothing special. The characters also, generally speaking, aren't people you care if they live or die. They're just fodder for graphic imagery. And the ones, or rather two silver linings of the film, who are comedic characters, it's not clear if they're supposed to be comedic or this is kind of a camp thing where the performances can be considered so bad that they're good. It's hard to say. But I would say this is definitely one of those type of horror movies where there's no need to rush to see it. There's certainly a lot better out there. But if you just must see every single horror movie that was released this year, put it on the list, but don't put it nowhere near the top.